So do you also use Zoom and Gravity Forms for your business? Then this video is definitely for you. So hello all, welcome back to Pabbly Connect, and in this video we are going to understand how to add Zoom meeting registrant on Gravity Forms submission. So with here I'm running a EdTech company and we regularly conduct new sessions and events for our business, and we use Gravity Forms to collect the registrations of the same. So now what I want is that as soon as a new registration is made or as soon as a new form submission is made in my Gravity Forms, automatically with the help of the same submission details, a new registrant should be added in my Zoom too. So to do this, we are going to create a connection between Gravity Forms and Zoom. To create this connection without knowing any programming or coding language, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. It is an amazing automation software. So do you also wish to learn this process step by step? Then let me take you to my computer screen.
Welcome to my screen, everyone. So as you know that you are here to learn about how to add Zoom meeting registrants on Gravity Forms submission. So as you know that I'm running an EdTech company and we regularly conduct sessions for our students. So now what I want is that whenever a student registers for an event through our Gravity Forms submission, I want to set up an automation that instantly adds them to my Zoom as registrants. This ensures that each attendee receives their meeting link as soon as they register, streamlining the following process and allowing us to focus on delivering a seamless experience without the need of manual registration. So yes, as you know that Zoom and Gravity Form doesn't have any native connection. So in order to connect both of these applications, we are going to use Pabbly Connect. And in order to do this connection, I've already opened the landing page of Pabbly simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser. It is very easy. So as soon as we're going to open the landing page of Pabbly, we are going to get two options. One is sign in and the other one is sign up for free. So if you're a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you're going to get 100 of stars free every month. But I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in right over here. And as soon as we're going to click on sign in, it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here, you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications, which is Gravity Forms and Zoom. So I'm going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect's account. And as soon as we are going to click on access now, it is opening my dashboard. And to start with this automation, we are going to click on this button which is create workflow. And now it is asking me the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So here I want to save the workflow in this folder which is automations, and on my dashboard you can see multiple folders which I have already created in order to save my workflows in. And if you wish to learn how to create a new folder or a subfolder, you can click on this hyperlink given right over here which says learn more. And now it is asking me for the workflow name. So I want the workflow name to be this, which says how to add Zoom meeting registrants on Gravity Forms submission, Gravity Forms to Zoom. And then we're going to click on create, and as soon as we're going to click on create, it is opening the most important window for automation, which is our workflow window. So this is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. Trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions follow the commands. And as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So over here we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. And by this you can finally understand that the actions are response towards the commands given by our trigger. And in order to start with our automation, we have to select our trigger application. So for my trigger application, I'm going to select it as Gravity Forms because I want that as soon as a new form submission is made in my Gravity Forms, automatically my workflow should be triggered. So I'm going to search for Gravity Forms and then we're going to select it. And now it is asking me for the trigger event. So basically trigger event is the event on which the workflow will start. So here I want that as soon as a new response is received, my workflow should be triggered or started. And after selecting my trigger event, it has given me a webhook URL. So we're going to use this same webhook URL in order to create a connection between our Gravity Forms and our Pabbly's workflow. So what we are going to do is first we are going to copy this webhook URL and then we're going to follow this help text. So I'm going to open my Gravity Forms account right from here. So as you can see that I've already opened this Gravity Forms account, and as you know that Gravity Forms is a plugin of WordPress, right? So now over here I've come directly to my forms and now I'm going to select the form I want to create this automation for. So as you can see that this is the form I want to create this automation for, which is event registration form. So I'm going to go on edit of this form right from here, and as soon as we're going to go on this edit, you can see settings. So yes, we're going to go on the settings, we're going to scroll and look for webhooks, and now you can see webhooks. So we have to go on this webhooks, and after coming on over here to our webhooks, over here you can see a button of add new. So I'm going to click on this add new right over here, and as soon as we're going to click on add new, it is asking me for the name of the webhook which I want to give it. So let's suppose that we're going to keep it as Zoom test right over here. Okay, so I'm going to enter it and then we're going to move on forward. It is asking me for the request URL. So over here we are going to paste the URL which we copied from our our workflow. And now it is asking me for the request method. So I'm going to select it as post. For the request format, we are going to select it as JSON. We're going to move on forward. It is asking me for these details. So if you wish, you can definitely add these request headers, but I don't wish to add so directly we are going to move on forward. It is saying request body. We are going to keep it as all fields. And now it is saying webhook condition. So if you wish, you can definitely add this, but I don't wish to do so directly. I'm going to click on save settings. And as soon as we are going to click on save setting, it is saying settings updated. So yes, with this, we have successfully connected our Gravity Forms account with our Pabbly's workflow. But over here, it is saying waiting for a webhook response, and in the notes, it is saying do a test submission / record. So in order to capture this webhook response, we have to do a test submission / record. So what we have to do is, I'm going to open my Gravity Forms and do a test submission where we are going to submit the form with the demo details and do event registration. Okay, so I'm going to open my Gravity Forms once again. We are going to go on this forms once again and do the test submission with the new details, like the test details. Okay, and you can see event registration form. So I'm going to go on this preview right from here. And as you can see that this is the same form which I connected recently with my workflow. So now it is asking me for the first name. So for the first name, I'm going to keep it as demo, last name as user, this as the email address. You can see the phone number, and over here you can see the address. Over here you can see the city and the state. We are going to click on next right over here, and over here it is asking me to select the gender. So let's suppose I'm going to select it as female. It is saying age, so I'm going to select the age. It is saying how did you hear about this event. So let's suppose we're going to select it as social media. We're going to go on next, and as soon as we're going to go over here, it is saying numbers of tickets needed. So let's suppose I'm going to select it as 2 right over here, and now I'm going to enter the card details, and then we are going to enter the security code 2 and click on submit. And as soon as we are going to click on submit right over here, yes, it is saying thank you for testing our form. So yes, with this we have successfully did the test submission, and with this what has happened is that Gravity Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. So I'm going to open my workflow and check that if Pabbly has captured the response or not. And yes, you can see that Pabbly has captured the response. You can see the gender, you can see the age which we entered, you can see the social media, which is how did you hear about the event. Over here you can see all the details which we entered. You can see the email, you can see the phone number. Over here I'm going to show you the name too, right? I'm going to look for name, and as you can see the first name and the last name. So yes, upon receiving all of these details, with this we have successfully completed our trigger step. And now what will happen is that as soon as the new form submission is made in my Gravity Forms, automatically my workflow would be triggered. And then we're going to move on further. What I want is I want to add Zoom registrants with the same form details, right? So I'm going to move on towards my action step, and now for my action application, I'm going to select it as Zoom. So I'm going to search for Zoom, and as you can see the same, so we're going to select it. And now for the action event, we are going to select it as add meeting registrant, and then we're going to click on connect. And as soon as we're going to click on connect, it is asking me to add a new connection or select the existing connection. So if you have already connected your Zoom account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection, and then we have to click on this button which says connect with Zoom. So I'm going to click on this button right over here, and as soon as we're going to click on this button, yes, you can see authorization successful. We have successfully connected our Zoom account with our Pabbly's workflow. So yes, this was really easy because I've already logged in my Zoom account previously. So that's why it is always advised to log in your applications before starting with the automation. And now it is asking me for the meeting. In which meeting do I want to add the registrant? So here I wanted them to add in this, which is mastering digital marketing. So yes, I'm going to select the same meeting right over here, and now it is asking for the email address, first name and last name, and all the details of the registrant. So yes, we're going to map all of these details right over here one by one. We are not going to enter it manually, we are going to map it. So you must be wondering what is mapping, right? So mapping is a method by Pabbly which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step where we selected Gravity Forms as our trigger application. So we're going to map the details from the response of our trigger application only. And I'm going to explain you mapping in a very simple example that it is asking me for the email address, right? So let's suppose we're going to enter the email address right over here manually by typing it like this. Then this will not change with every new response received because this is a static information and I've entered it manually. But if we are going to map this email from the previous step, let's suppose that I'm going to map this right from here. I'm going to look for the email, and as you can see the same. So let's suppose we're going to map the email from the previous response, then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change, right? So that's why we do mapping right over here to run our workflow in real time. So same, we are going to map the first name and last name too. I'm going to look for first name in the previous response, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. We're going to map the last name too. I'm going to look for last name in the previous response, and as you can see the last name which was user, so we're going to map it. We're going to move on forward. It is asking me for the address, so yes, we're going to map the address too. I'm going to look for address right over here, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. We're going to map the city too. I'm going to look for it in the previous response. We're going to map it right from here, and we're going to map all the details is like the country too. I'm going to look for country right over here, and as you can see the country, which is India, so we're going to map it over here. I'm going to leave the zip and state. We are going to map the phone number directly. I'm going to look for phone number in the previous response, and as you can see the same, so we're going to map it. So as you can see that I've mapped all the details which were required, right? And after mapping all of these details which were required directly, I'm going to click on save and send this request. And as soon as we're going to click on this button that says save and send this request, yes, you can see that we have successfully added the registrant in our meeting. So now what we are going to do is I'm going to open my Zoom account and check for the new meeting registrant added, which were the same details received from our Gravity forms. So I'm going to open my Zoom right from here. We're going to go on registrants, and then over here you can see registrants, which is 0. So I'm going to refresh this first right from here, and as soon as we're going to refresh this, we're going to go on registrations, and as you can see registrants 1. So I'm going to click on view right over here, and yes, you can see registrant demo user. You can see the email address which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and we have successfully added a new Zoom meeting registrant with the same details which were received from our Gravity forms. So yes, I'll just test this workflow once, and this time I'm going to give you a real-time example. Okay, so I'm going to open this form once again, and we're going to do the test submission with the new details. Okay, so it is asking me for the name. So let's suppose this time I'm going to keep it as test, last name as user, email as this. You can see the confirm email, the phone number, I'm going to keep it as this. And now it is asking me for the address as this. We are going to move forward. For the gender, we are going to keep it as male, age as this. And now it is saying how did you hear about this event. So let's suppose we're going to keep it as refer a friend. We are going to move on forward. We're going to purchase the tickets. I'm going to enter the card number right over here, and then we're going to click on submit. And as soon as we're going to click on submit, yes, once again you can see that we have successfully did the test submission. And now what has happened is that Gravity Forms has sent the details of our test submission to our workflow. Pabbly captured the response, triggered the workflow, and further added the Zoom registrant in our Zoom meeting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my Zoom right from here and then check for the new registrant added. And this time we are not going back to our workflow and clicking on save and send test request. I'll directly open my Zoom account right from here. We're going to go back and refresh this page in order to check for the new registrant added. So again, we're going to go on registrations, and yes, you can see registrants too. So I'm going to go on this view, and yes, you can see that automatically a new registrant has been added, which is test user, and you can see the same email address which we entered. So yes, with this we have successfully completed our workflow, and I'll just summarize this workflow for you once. So for the trigger application, we selected Gravity Forms. For the trigger event, we selected new response. For the action application, we selected Zoom, and then for the action event, we selected add meeting registrant, because I wanted that as soon as someone registers for my event with the help of the Gravity Forms, automatically they should be added as a meeting registrant in my Zoom. And yes, we were successful with our workflow too. Over here you can see the 2 meeting registrants I added during this video with the help of my workflow without any manual efforts. So yes, this was it for the video, and if you have any questions related to the video or the workflow, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching.
So not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly Connect, you can integrate many more applications. So if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.